Hi, I'm Stephanie Burt. Just like some who've come before me, I eat, I travel, I write, and I talk. Boy, do I talk. But I also listen too. And these are some of the stories I hear and experience around the Southern table. They are rooted in personal and cultural history, resonance with seasonality and the living environment, and a passion for high-level craft that in its pursuit offers the possibility of sustenance from one hand to another. Let's dig in. This is my last show of the season, and since I'm celebrating the release of my latest book, South Carolina Cocktails, published by Cider Mill Press, I thought it fitting to speak with one of the most creative mixologists and students of the craft in the Lowcountry, James Bolt of the Gin Joint. The Gin Joint is tucked behind a wrought iron fence in the middle of touristed East Bay Street in Charleston, South Carolina, and its location is the literal anchor of the craft cocktail bar scene in the city. You see, although craft cocktails have been showing up on bar menus around town before it, when it opened its doors in 2010, it was the first full craft cocktail experience in the city. I can't imagine how many drinks the staff has served then. It's almost always busy. I mean, every time I visit. But these days, James and Wells Bolt run the show. James began as staff and never left, and he's quietly kept the bar relevant through his tenure, creating seasonal, culinary-driven cocktails that are like fine dining in a glass. We've circled each other for years, but I think this book that I just wrote brought us together, and I'm really excited about that.
I would agree with that for sure.
Yeah. So I'd love to begin where you began because I really think of you as a chemist in a lot of ways. And I'm fascinated how craft cocktail world captured your attention. Can you just give us a brief synopsis of how that happened?
Sure. So I actually went to culinary school up at the Culinary Institute of America up in Hyde Park, New York. Always in love with food. And then once I graduated, heard of this great bar in Charleston, South Carolina called the Gin Joint. Came to check it out and then was able to see how food could actually be incorporated in cocktails. So that just kind of sparked my interest in general of getting to the front of house instead of back of house and starting the cocktail culinary journey, I guess you could say.
When James uses the term culinary-driven, he's hinting at the wide variety of foodstuffs that often make it into his cocktails. Those of us who know our way around a bar stool are used to varieties of citrus, berries, and even blue cheese stuffed olives showing up in our drinks. But at the Gin Joint, everything from green pepper to rice to soy sauce and celery finds its way into a cocktail creation. The cocktail that is in my book has a Carolina Gold rice orgeat. Am I saying that right?
That's correct, yeah.
Ooh, good. I'm glad I practiced that a bit. So let's use that as an example. Sure. It's rice.
Yep.
But what is an orgeat? How did you make that and decide that flavor profile for that cocktail?
So for that, orgeat's normally made with almonds, so sort of almond milk. Kind of then thought of Charleston culture with the rice everywhere, Carolina Gold. There's rice milk as well, so we just kind of wanted to make a staple of Carolina Gold rice for Charleston and incorporate it into a cocktail.
And so what is the base spirit in that cocktail?
That was gin.
Gin, that's right. The development of a cocktail like that, are you working on that for weeks? Are you just kind of parking it over here and messing around? Tell us about the arc of building a cocktail like that has been on your menu. And your menu has, 15 cocktails or so?
Around 15, 16, depending on when we change it. We do change it seasonally, so 4 times a year, reflective of the seasons, and then a special holiday Christmas menu as well. But to create kind of the vein of cocktails culinary driven that we do starts with a idea or a ingredient that we want to incorporate. So it could be even just a day that we figure it out, or it could be weeks to months until we get it dialed in of what we're looking for.
We're in this moment with you really feeling like, okay, I'm going to start incorporating my knowledge from CIA into this front of house experience. And the Gin Joint was already an amazing place.
Sure.
And so you're bringing this new kind of feeling to the gin joint. When you're thinking about this, I have to say, it's a lot of work. I mean, you spent this morning, we were texting back and forth, you were cutting ice. So how many hours a week do you work on cutting ice?
So the ice portion did start at Gin Joint because we needed quality, clear cocktail ice for the cocktails that we were putting out. That then started into our own business down the road of cutting cocktail ice for companies and bars and restaurants in Charleston. Balancing the two for sure can be difficult at times, but...
So just to clarify,
Sure.
that means that he has a separate company in addition to the Gin Joint that not only makes the ice for the Gin Joint, but supplies other bars and restaurants in town. He's not the only supplier of this, not the only game in town that does this, but there are ice programs of, certain clear-cut ice. It's a whole other ice chef thing.
And some restaurants will do it themselves just because they want to make sure the product's up to their standards or the specific sizing. That's kind of how we started it because Gin Joint had always done it. So we wanted to start supplying it to other companies.
The devotion to the craft. I mean, we're talking taking things, infusing things, steeping things. That is a devotion of time. Then you have a devotion of labor.
For sure.
Then you have a devotion of teaching your staff how to make these cocktails, or in some instances, them teaching you how to make it, because all these cocktails from this menu are not, necessarily yours. Then you have that devotion to service. How do you commit to this level? I think a lot of people that are never going to bartend still want to hear why committing to something like this is important.
I think at the end of the day, it's to make sure the customer gets the best quality cocktail that they're looking for and that experience that they may have not had anywhere. Bringing back in the Carolina Gold Rice Orgeat, that's something that's specific to the Carolinas in general with the rice trade. So seeing something like that in a cocktail on a menu and making a person aware of where that comes from and why it's a Charleston thing, kind of makes everyone's day, I guess, feel a little faster behind the bar and makes it go a little faster. So that helps out. But then just making sure the quality is there for everyone to have a great cocktail or meal.
The art of the craft cocktail is about the whole experience, from polished glasses and perfectly clear ice to spritzes and subtle knife work on garnishes. So it's a different experience than a high-volume bar where shot glasses are lined up and served quickly. As someone who likes both a dive bar and a craft cocktail experience, I can say my key advice here is understanding the differences rather than trying to get the same drink every time. Now, we also have to have a little bit of patience on our side. This is a different kind of experience. And the Gin Joint is really one of the highest echelons of the craft cocktail experience here in Charleston. You are keeping the legacy not only alive, but thriving, because I was just saying, I can't get in here very often. How many minutes does it take on average to make one of these cocktails?
On average, it really depends, one per cocktail and kind of how busy we are in general through the night. But since everything is already made for us behind the bar, we're just kind of putting it together in the cocktail shaker. On average, between 3 to 4 minutes.
Mm-hmm. So it's not crazy.
No.
We're not talking crazy.
No.
But we have, seats of 4. So lots of times, or 2, and it's going to take a minute because you're not just bringing over individual cocktails.
It's around 50 seats inside plus an additional 20 outside. So, I mean, if we're full, that's a lot of cocktails going all at the same time.
Right. So when you go to another bar, we're not going to talk about anywhere in Charleston. When you go somewhere outside of Charleston and you're like R&D, everybody is doing R&D. You need to be inspired.
Yep.
What are some of the things that really ping you about craft cocktails when you're not making them, when you're being served?
I think for me, per se, is really just looking at a menu and seeing if it does interest me or entice me to actually want to go try and experience everything that they're offering at that time. Since we are very culinary driven here, I do like to see more interesting cocktail ingredients on a menu because that definitely drives me to want to go there, try the cocktails, see their program, kind of see how they're set up and what they're doing.
And then what do you look for when you walk in? What is something beyond the menu atmosphere-wise where you're like, oh, yeah, we're going to stay, babe. We're going to have a drink here.
For us behind the bar, we kind of call it like the cocktail buzz. It's just kind of that like sense of everything's right in the bar or restaurant where there's just that flow of service. You see everyone's talking, having a good time. There's no like disgruntled guest or just kind of off-putting attitudes. It's just kind of a buzzworthy restaurant that's just full of life.
So you have to really thread a needle between people like me that are serious. We understand. We're sitting in. We're cool. We're also hanging out with cool people that maybe are newer to this style of service. How do you maintain your welcoming atmosphere while still saying, look, I can't make you a Jack and Ginger right this second? Or can you make a Jack and Ginger?
Actually, no. We don't carry any of Jack's products. We also don't carry any vodka, which is very unusual for a bar. Since we do normally on average 225 to 250 guests a night through here, we kind of make sure we have the right servers, have the right bartenders that are willing to put forth that effort of making sure they're cordial, kind, hear what every guest is trying to say or order, and make sure that they get it done right. Made right.
You like to educate without being pretentious. But sometimes people just think, oh my gosh, man, I just need a drink. This is an art piece, not just a drink.
Sure.
Correct? What is the first cocktail that you made when you kind of transferred, or one of the early cocktails that you made and you thought, oh yeah, I'm in this? Because I know as a writer, I'm writing articles. It's the same kind of taking disparate elements and putting them together. I know like that first thing where I thought, oh, I'm going to be writing about food. Do you have a cocktail like that?
I think the first cocktail that I actually put on the menu here was kind of based off a cocktail that I had in New York when I was up there at a no longer restaurant that was called WD50. It was a Michelin restaurant by Wiley Dufresne.
Yeah. Shout out to Travis Milton and Vivian Howard, who both worked there.
It was a celery cocktail. And that kind of changed my attitude and stance on, again, how culinary could be driven into cocktails.
I'm obsessed with celery flavor.
So the first one that went on the menu here that I put on was actually, we make a house tonic, and it had that, some gin, some celery bitters, thyme, soda water.
I had this cocktail. It's epic. It's delicious.
We still bring it back here and there. I just wanted that more like vegetal, herbal, very spring forward for Charleston heat.
I love the flavor of green, something green.
It was very green.
So whether it's green pepper or herbs or a wine that has herbaceous qualities to it.
That was called the parlor trick.
The parlor trick. I remember that because I was just like, can I have the celery tonic by itself? Can you bottle this? And I just pick it up. I loved it. I loved it so much. Okay. While we could make the celery tonic at home with enough preparation, we probably won't make the celery tonic. We can, however, improve our ice game. So with an ice chef across from me, I just had to ask. Now I need some personal help. I am really interested in making ice at home. When my square cube, silicone, big ice cube tray, how can I make it clearer?
There's a few at-home tricks you can do for that.
Give us a couple.
So you can take a normal like Igloo, smaller, doesn't have to be Igloo brand, but smaller.
Shout out to Igloo, though. You can sponsor the Southern Fork if you'd like.
For sure. Cooler, fill it with some water, and then put it actually in your freezer and cover it. So that's going to help it freeze from the bottom up, directional freezing. And then once that block is frozen, you can just take it out, trim the cloudy air pockets off the top, and then just cut it down into smaller pieces.
How do you trim it?
Well, for us at our warehouse, we actually use bandsaws and a few other things, but normal households don't have that. You can use like a serrated knife if you have that.
Or electric knife.
Or, that would
that would work?
Yeah, that would work as well.
Okay. So you're saying we take a small Igloo cooler. I've got the vintage one, of course.
I was going to say it has to be the plastic.
Yeah, the plastic kind. And you fill it with water, like maybe 3 or 4 inches.
You can do more. I would do like 3/4 full just for expansion. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Then you can make the tall, skinny ones for your celery tonics.
Yeah, that would
right?
work.
I love this. And then how do you store the ice so that it doesn't
Sure.
degrade?
At home, you can just put it right into just Ziploc bags. They that'll also keep any freezer odors out as well, because you don't want those on the ice.
AKA garlic and chicken that are in my freezer.
Yeah.
I don't want those ice cubes. No, I'd prefer yours. So, I'm popping in here to do what we call in the business a host read ad. But this promo is for something very special to me, my new book. South Carolina Cocktails, an elegant collection of over 100 recipes inspired by the Palmetto State, is now available for sale wherever you buy books. And it includes cocktails from 100 different bars and restaurants in South Carolina, full color photos, bartender profiles, bar features, and local producers. If you want a personalized and signed copy, though, all you have to do is go to my Instagram profile and look for the book, articles, and podcast episodes link. There, you'll be able to order directly from me. I'd love to sign a book for you. Okay, now back to the show. We've really talked a lot about the investment of time. And, this is a trend kind of industry, right?
Sure.
So, and Charleston is following the first cities. Charleston's the second city in the U.S. as food goes. So, Southern Fork listeners, that means we're looking to New York, we're looking to San Francisco, we're looking to L.A., to some cases, Portland. In the United States, we're also looking to Paris and other spots. But we are second city. So, a lot of people move from New York, just like you did, into this space, right? And Nashville is the second city for Chicago. This is very inside baseball for food and beverage writing, but it's true. So we're sitting here in Charleston. You're on the edge of that second city thing. What are you excited about right now? What is making you hungry in creativity world?
I mean, I think for me, like you just said, travel a lot is what's really making us hungry, just because, as you mentioned, we try to do a lot of R&D trips just so that we can be better aware of what the industry trends are, like as you mentioned, in these bigger cities, New York, Paris, LA, Chicago.
What's something we're going to be seeing more of?
I think, not weirdly enough, but mini cocktails.
Mini cocktails. Oh, we've seen the mini martini trend. We're going to be seeing the mini, what else trend? Mai Tai trend?
Just cocktails in general. We were just in Paris last September, and a very high-rated bar had a whole cocktail menu that were just mini cocktails, so that you could try more instead of being devoted to just one large one. You could try.
I love that. I love a mini. We all like the miniatures.
Yeah.
I grew up with Lisa Frank, okay? So I don't know if anyone knows Lisa Frank, but, tiny little stickers and all kinds of things. So mini cocktails. So are you thinking about doing something like that here?
We have a mini Martinez on the menu currently. We're talking about possibly adding a few other options. It does give people that option, as I mentioned, for multiple ones instead of maybe just one.
So you get a flight.
Yeah.
Oh, you can get a flight of minis. Oh, I'm so here. Now, beyond that, what is making you hungry as James?
I mean, I think right now we have such a good bar team that we're just really wanting to get more creative and are getting more creative behind our own bar. And the way that we can push even more culinary-driven cocktails or more obscure cocktails that the public will like or love, that really gets us excited in the sense of having people come in and see something strange on a menu and then order it and love it and come back maybe next year and want it, but unfortunately it's not there
But then you get to introduce them to something new that they can love, right?
But yeah, I think it's just that hunger of making people happy, but also us being able to express our creativity behind the bar and learning all that we can through travel or going to other places even in the city.
what is one aspect of this job that you basically worked yourself into that really meshes like a puzzle piece with an aspect of your personality?
I think this one's a hard one.
Yes.
Since we're here all the time, I don't know if it's a personality trait, but I think being in that culinary background of constantly tasting, even behind the bar, we're always tasting every cocktail we put out, everything that we do, syrups to infusions, constantly every day.
Right.
So just in that kind of mentality of making sure everything's right, personality-wise, of tasting it to make sure it's good, perfect, and we can send it out and everyone's going to be happy. So I think that kind of...
And we did a little session about that on Sunday at Charleston Wine and Food. We talked about how to CrossFit your palate, and it is all about consistently tasting.
Yep.
Yes.
So yeah, I mean, I think that for me is, if that makes sense personality-wise, but...
It does. It does, because you're building that palate, and the ability to consistently taste and to understand the direction to go next. That is your creativity in action. Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, that I think sums it up for me in the sense of we're always looking to be better, do the next thing, keep on top of the trends, making sure people are happy, enjoying themselves, having the best cocktails.
And there's snacks here too, but we're not talking about those today. So what is something keeping you up at night?
For me, I think it's having the ability of being more aware to slow down, because in this industry, it's always very fast paced, as you know.
It's real. It's real.
So you definitely almost kind of get addicted to that to a sense, but once you leave the bar, it's kind of putting into perspective of making sure that I slow down to take time to do certain things instead of rushing to get through them, or making sure they're still done right without rushing, stuff like that. I think is making sure that I make a note to myself every day to be more aware, to slow down.
Well, the seasonality of your work also helps that. It has helped me, knowing that we're about to get strawberries, which you just made into a gastrique. We're starting to get the spring stuff, but you still probably have tonics and tinctures and all kinds of things from the winter vegetables.
Yeah. And we're already, as I just mentioned about slowing down, we've already just launched the spring menu, and we're already starting to R&D for the summer. So it's already, again, that slowing down, even though spring's just here, as you mentioned with strawberries, but for us, we're already ahead into summer of thinking of what's next. So slowing down and enjoying going to maybe pick some strawberries when they're ready, or enjoying spring in Charleston.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a magical time. We don't want to tell you about that, but I'm pretty sure most of you already know because you're all here. Okay, so this is the last question I ask of every guest, and it is my picnic basket question, magic picnic basket. So I want to bring you some things that bring you life. Okay. So I can time travel. I can cook a little bit. I can source for you all of these things you probably don't need. Time travel you probably need, but I would love to put some things in a basket. They don't have to go together. They don't have to be a composed picnic, just some things right now that when I say, what are some meals, bites, flavors that really just make you happy to be alive? What can I put in that basket for you?
It's also a tough one.
Yeah, everyone says it.
I think for me, going back kind of like culinary-wise, food-driven cocktail scene, being able to experience like growing up, having very farm-fresh vegetables ready and being able to taste, as you mentioned, the spring strawberries or freshly pulled carrots. I think just that more hyper-seasonal produce selection, I would take anything. I mean, Charleston's about to have very bountiful products of that, but just having that farm-fresh vegetable that's just been picked, or fruit, or something like that.
So who makes some of those things that you enjoy?
There's a few in town. Spade and Clover is doing a great job with some low country, turmeric, ginger, some other vegetables as well. We always love Ambrose Farms for their strawberries. And
strawberries are the best. Are the best. He is also the best.
His Pete Sweets onions and everything he does out there is great.
And then do you have a restaurant or two that you have to visit in the spring in Charleston?
In Charleston, It's tough again.
I know you hate to shout out. You're trying to be very diplomatic.
Well, I mean, I will shout out, we always love Vern's.
Mm-hmm.
Very new, especially Michelin scene as well. But Dano and Bethany do such a great job with just, for sure, seasonality and changing the seasons and working with the local farmers. I mean,
What is something you have to get on the menu there every time?
I mean, it's been on the menu since day one, I believe, is their sourdough bread.
I know, the chard.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That,
So
and then their tartare as well is always great, but it's kind of tough because they're always changing the menu like we are. So,
Okay, so you were in Paris last
Sure.
year. Can I add a cocktail to the picnic basket
Yeah.
from Paris? What cocktail would you like me to add?
there was a cocktail from Cambridge Public House that was amazing. Cannot remember what's in it, but it was amazing cocktail that was also actually a mini cocktail. And I was kind of hesitant on ordering it. One,
Mhm.
because it was mini and didn't really know what that meant at the time, but got it. And it definitely stuck out in my mind for sure. And then the
So-
last thing
Mhm.
was a Amaro that we found from a bartender that works at a cocktail bar that she and her dad actually make. We bought the last 3 bottles that were available at the liquor store and brought back. So yeah, those 2 things for sure.
What is the base of that Amaro?
It was actually spent grapes.
Wow.
So-
Wow. Super cool.
Yeah.
And that's the show for today. This podcast is produced in-house by the Southern Fork, and the theme music is the song Memphis Bound from Songs for Rosetta by Jimbo Mathis and his Knockdown Society, released in 1997 and including violin on this track from Andrew Bird. Mathis, who generously allowed me to use this music here, has been my lifetime musical Pied Piper, and Bird, one of my creative catalysts, so I'm grateful to share their sound with you through this show. If you like what you've heard today, please send it to somebody you'd like to sit across the table from, and please support all the creators featured here. Until next time.